Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. This is Tanush, and today I'll be discussing about a very interesting transit, which is, conjunction of planets, which has already happened in the transit. So right now we have Sun, we have Saturn, and we have Mercury conjunct in the sign of Capricorn. So these three planets are in the sign of Capricorn, and the kind of impact this the conjunction of these three planets give us very confusing. And I thought of making this video because it can give you a lot of inputs to you, and you can plan your things accordingly, right? So let us analyze what each planet signifies. As we all know, Sun represents our soul, Sun is our father, Sun represents government, it represents our stamina. Now Mercury represents our siblings, it represents our communication, our logical and analytical abilities. It represents a written form of communication, verbal communication, social media, right? It also represents to some extent even the share market, right? So Mercury is a very, very important planet, and it is a part of this conjunction. And on the other hand, uh, we have Saturn, which is in its own sign of Capricorn. And as we all discussed in my previous video, Capricorn is a very tough sign of Saturn, and Saturn creates a lot of boundaries and restrictions when it is in this sign, and it expects that people work very hard, be very disciplined, be very organized, work extremely hard, and then it starts giving the results, right? So we can say Capricorn is a tough side of Saturn, tough sign of Saturn, whereas Aquarius is a much more relaxed and the positive side of Saturn, we can say, right? So now when these three planets are now conjunct in the sign of Capricorn, and this is going to be there till 12th of February, it's going to create a different kind of situation based on the degrees it is in, based on the proximity of the planets, and how they are impacting each other, right? And also its aspect. So now it is going to impact the house which Sun represents in your horoscope. It is going to impact two houses which Mercury represents in your horoscope, and also the Saturn. It's already there. Saturn is a lord of Capricorn and Aquarius, obviously, right? Now Saturn and Sun, they are very bitter enemies, right? They don't go along well, even though they share father son relationship, but they are bitter enemies of each other. Whereas Mercury, on the other hand, is a very good friend of Sun as well as Saturn, right? Now we can say that Mercury is now trapped between these two very malefic planets. Though Sun is not a malefic planet, people call it as malefic, because it has its malefic side, but a lot of positive things also are there. But Sun is a very hot planet, whereas Saturn is a very cold planet, right? And Mercury, when it comes in conjunction with these two giant planets, it is kind of confused, because Mercury doesn't have its own nature. It basically adapts to the house it sits in, it adapts to the planet it is conjunct with. So now Mercury, because it doesn't have its own identity, or it loses its identity when it is in conjunction with other planets or the houses it sits in, Mercury now is very confused, right? Because Sun is going to influence Mercury as well as Saturn is going to influence Mercury, and the conjunction of Sun and Saturn, which is considered very tough, is also going to influence Mercury, and Mercury is now quite confused, right? So it's going to impact most of the people, almost everyone. Now, what are the different aspects it's going to impact? One is Sun and Saturn represents a lot of responsibilities. So this conjunction is going to bring in a lot of responsibilities to all of us. And what kind of responsibilities? It depends upon the ascendant, the house which these planets own, and the house in which they are right now sitting, or they are conjunct, right? So those will be the areas on which you will feel heavy responsibility coming in. Second, it expects you to work very hard to get things done. And Saturn is a significator of delays. It is going to delay things which the Sun represents. It is also going to delay things which Mercury represents, right? So when it is conjunct with Sun, it is going to bring a lot of responsibility, maybe responsibility towards your father, responsibility towards the government, right? That is one thing. Now, when we take the case of Mercury, it also brings in a lot of responsibility towards the houses which Mercury governs, obviously. And because Mercury represents communication, this conjunction is going to impact communication, right? So during this kind of times, because Saturn is very tough and Sun is there, so the Sun-Saturn conjunction will bring a very harsh tone, maybe to your superiors, maybe father-son relationship or father-daughter relationship will be impacted. Father is going to be a little tough, and the communication of either the father or your reporting manager or boss at workplace may seem little tough, little little demanding, right? They are basically going to show their prowess, that I'm the boss here. And so they are going to demand a lot of things, and you have to be little careful, because these are testing times, because even you would feel that spark within you which will kind of agitate you. So during these times, if we respond to this kind of situation, then it will give us long standing effect. Things would go bad, and it is going to impact, because Saturn is a slow moving planet. Anything which happens during this time will have a long standing effect, a very bad effect. So because Mercury is there, communication would be impacted, right? We have to be very careful. If you are very active on social media, especially the Facebook, Twitter, or even WhatsApp, so you have to be very careful with your communication. So these are the times where maybe you might say something which you would not intend to say, or you might have unnecessary arguments over social media. So stay away, or so be very cautious while getting into social media. So that is one front where we have to be very careful. Next is Mercury also represents traveling. It also represents share market. So be a little careful when you're dealing with this kind of thing. So when you're traveling, you have to be a little careful, very planned, extremely planned. Don't take any risks. So even share market, the same thing. So these are the different areas where we can expect things to go bad. So I'll just go ascendant by ascendant, and I'll just touch base with what would be the areas which might be impacted by this conjunction, and then we'll finish the video. So let us start with the Aries ascendant. So if we speak about the Aries, Sun is the lord of your 5th house, and Saturn is the lord of your 10th house. Mercury is the lord of your 3rd and 6th house, and right now Sun and Mercury are in conjunction with Saturn in your 10th house. So 10th house is the house of your career, your business front, right? Very important house. It also represents the house of authority, right? Your authority. So you can expect things to be little tough at your workplace, things to be very confusing, because Mercury also represents our intellectual capability, our analytical skills, our logical skills. So you might find little difficult to logically think. Things might not be so easy for you to decide, and be very careful with communication, because whatever I've told, it might apply to you specifically, because this conjunction is happening in your 10th house, right? Also, Sun represents your 5th house, which is again 5th house represents children. So again, you might have issues with your children, be little careful with them. Don't involve into arguments. Try to be a little cool, and things would be much better, right? Now for Taurus, Saturn is the lord of your ninth house, and right now Saturn is in the ninth house. Sun is the lord of your fourth house, and Mercury is the lord of your second and fifth house. Now the second and fourth house specifically represents extended family and your home front, right? So you can find issues at your home. You might have to take on additional responsibility due to various reasons at home, and you might see that you will have to put in efforts at your workplace, as well as take additional responsibility at your home, and this might irritate you a lot. So again, it's a temporary time. Have patience and things would be better. Also, second house also represents extended family, so you might also have some additional responsibilities towards your extended family, so be prepared for that as well. Mercury is again the lord of your fifth house. Again, communication with your children is of paramount importance during these times. Be very careful while communicating with your children. Try to be very logical. Try to be cool. Hold back your temperament, and things would be better. Now for Gemini ascendant, it is going to impact severely, because this conjunction is happening in your 8th house, right? So Saturn is already in your 8th house. The lord of 8th house is in the 8th house. Sun, which is the lord of your 3rd house, right, is now in conjunction with Sun. Also Mercury, which is lord of your ascendant and your 4th house, right? So two important Kendra houses Mercury holds, is now in conjunction with Saturn and Sun, and is extremely confused. Now, because this is happening in your 8th house, you can expect your health being little bad. So you might catch some infection, and especially you might have issues with your stomach, because it's happening in the 8th house, right? So some viral fevers, or some stomach infection. Your immunity might be low during these times. 3rd house also represents communication, so you have to be extremely careful in communication. And Mercury is also lord of your 4th house, so communication at your home front, you have to be careful and be ready to accept additional responsibilities on your home front. So be prepared for that. Health is going to trouble you till 12th of February, till Sun transits out of your 8th house into the 9th house, and then things would be much better, right? Now for Cancer ascendant, Saturn is in your 7th house, the lord of 7th house in the 7th house. Sun, which is the lord of your 2nd house, is in conjunction with Saturn in the 7th house, and Mercury, which is the lord of your 12th and 6th house, is again in the 7th house. So 7th house represents our relationship, marriage, spouse, business relationship. So you can expect all the impact specifically on these areas, along with the 2nd house, which is your extended family, your savings. So you'll not be able to put a cap on your savings. Things might go bad on financial front. Bad in the sense you'll have to spend more, right? It's not that it's going to be very bad, but the only point is you have to be very careful in your marriage. So be very cool. Don't lose your temper, because if you lose a temper, you are going to have problems with your spouse. It's going to impact your relationship, and for those who are into business partnership, these are going to be testing times, right? So don't let ego come between you and your partner. So let it be business partner, or let it be your life partner, that is your spouse. So that is the key for you to sail through this time, right? Now for Leo ascendant, the lord of your lagna, that is Sun, is now in conjunction with Saturn and Mercury. So Saturn is in your 6th house. Saturn is very comfortable being in the 6th house, and Sun, which is your ascendant, is in the 6th house. Sun is also very comfortable in 6th house. So one way it's not so bad. And Mercury, which is lord of your 2 wealth giving houses, that is second and 11th house, is now in conjunction with Sun and Saturn in the sixth house, and Mercury is also kind of okay being in the sixth house, right? So one way it is going to be okay, in the sense you will take part in competitions. So if you are dealing with some government related contracts or jobs, then this period is going to be a little better for you. But again, you have to be a little careful with your enemies. So if you have any court cases, or if you have any enemies who backstab you especially, then you have to be careful at these times. So because Sun is a lot of your ascendant, you can expect some minor health issues during this time, and you can expect ego issues, especially with your in-laws. I mean, especially with your brother's family. So you have to be little careful on that front. Otherwise, things are good. Your expenditure might be little more during this period, because sitting in the sixth house, it is aspecting the 12th house as well. So that might irritate you as well. So be prepared. And if you are planning for any long distance journey, then it's better to postpone that. Otherwise, you will encounter small delays. Small delays, not much, but it will irritate you basically, and the journey will not be very smooth. So you can expect some minor issues here and there. So it's not going to be an easy journey. So if you can postpone, that would be a wonderful thing, right? Now coming to Virgo ascendant, Saturn is in your fifth house right now, and Mercury is a lot of your 10th and your 10th house and your ascendant as well, and Sun is the lord of your 12th house, and they are conjunct in the fifth house, right? So the areas which it might impact is first your health, second at your work front, again you will have issues with your boss or your reporting manager. You will have ego issues. Your boss would be very tough with you. His communication might not be appreciated by you. So be little cool. Take things as they are coming. Don't respond to it. Because knowing that things are going to be little tough till 12th of February, just relax, let things happen, and after 12th, everything will fall in place. And because Mercury is a lot of your ascendant, again some minor health issues you can expect during these times. You'll have to work little harder during this period, and due to the exertion, your health might be little bad. You might be stressed out basically. Now for Libra, Saturn is in the fourth house, right? Saturn is one of the best planets for you. Sun is the lord of your 11th house, and Mercury is the lord of your 12th and 9th house, right? So during this period, you can expect journeys. You will be forced to go on journeys. These journeys will be fruitful for you, but it will not be an easy ride for you. I mean, you will encounter a lot of issues during the journey. It's not only journey, even in your network circle or your colleagues whom you work with, you will have some differences. You will have ego issues with them. So be a little cool again. Just wait for time to pass up. Till 12th of February, and then things will fall in place, right? Now Scorpio. For Scorpio, Saturn is in your third house. So Saturn in third house is very good. Sun is the lord of your 10th house. Again, Sun is the best friend of your ascendant as well, and Mercury is the lord of your 8th and 11th house, right? Now what you can expect is again issues at your work front. So you will have to communicate with many people during this time, and during the communication you will not get the response which you are expecting, and this might create little imbalance in your thought process, and you might not like this. Because these are not very good times, but take things as they are coming, because once this phase passes, things are going to be very good again. So whatever effort you put now, you will see the results once the sun transits out of Capricorn. So be a little patient and put in a lot of efforts. You are going to put in a lot of efforts. You will be filled with energy during this time. But the only thing is, be little cool. Don't respond to situations. Don't respond to harsh communication from colleagues. So put ego out of the equation and things will work for you. Now coming to Sagittarius, Saturn is in your second house. You are in the last part of your Sadesati. Sun is the lord of your ninth house and sitting in the second house, and Mercury is the lord of your seventh and 10th house, right? So again, two important Kendra houses Mercury governs, and now it is in conjunction with these two planetary giants in your second house. So you can expect a lot of things happening in your family, especially in your extended family. So you might have to accept a lot of responsibility on that front, right? You will find saving money a little difficult during these times. Money will literally slip out of your hand. Unexpected expenditures would come, and your savings will slowly start depleting. But again, like I say, it's a temporary period. So try to be cool. Your communication with your spouse and at your work front is of paramount importance during this time. So because Mercury is lot of your 7th and 10th house, right? So your communication is going to get impacted, obviously. So don't respond to your spouse or at workplace. You have to think twice or thrice before you speak, especially during the heated argument times. You have to be you think first and then you speak, because whatever things happen during this period, or the way you respond is surely going to impact you in the long term. So be a little careful. Now for Capricorn, obviously Saturn is in your ascendant. Now Sun, which is the lord of your 8th house, is again in your ascendant, right? And Mercury, the lord of your 6th and 9th house. So what you can expect is your health might get impacted during these times. You will especially have issues related to Pitta. Pitta is like excess heat in the body, and problems happening due to excess heat in the body. So in Ayurveda, we call that as Pitta, right? So, and Pitta creates a lot of issues, especially related to stomach, a lot of issues it can create. It is capable of creating. And because a lot of 8th house is in the ascendant, some of these issues might not actually be detected at an early point of time. So it will be detected at, once Sun is about to transit, but be prepared for this. You can probably change your food habits. Try to eat at home. Try to eat, a normal diet. That would surely help you. And sitting there again, it's aspecting the 7th house. So there also you'll have to be careful with your communication, especially at your workplace, because 6th house is also involved, and with your spouse, right? Now coming to Aquarius ascendant, Saturn is in the 12th house, and you have already started Sadesati. It's the first phase of Sadesati. Now Sun is the lord of your 7th house, and Mercury is the lord of your 5th and 8th house, and they are conjunct in the 12th house. So the pain point for you would be, first is unnecessary expenditure, unnecessary travel, arguments with your spouse or with your business partner. So these are the three things where you will have to take care of. And communication with your children is another thing. And for students, this will be little confusing times. They'll not be clear either with the future or what they are studying, or if they have any plans for the future, they'll not be very clear on that. So again, it's a temporary time. Once Sun transits out, things would be much better. Now for Pisces ascendant, Saturn right now is in your 11th house, which is wonderful. Sun is the lord of your 6th house. Mercury is the lord of your 4th and 7th house. Again, two important Kendra houses are involved, right? So Mercury governs two of your important Kendra houses. Now all these three are conjunct in your 11th house. Now this is going to be a very interesting conjunction, especially for Pisces ascendant. Why? Because in 11th house, planets do very good, even though planets are kind of not so good for your ascendant, or they may not hold, they may not be lot of two important houses, but still they do well in the 11th house. So what you can expect is, during this period you will be very active in your network circle. You can expect gains from the business and your profession as well, unexpected gains from there. And the environment at your home front will be very, very active. So during these times, probably you might travel, and issues with communication would be there. But again, traveling would be there. A lot of traveling during these times, and you can expect gains from your profession, probably a salary hike or some sort of bonus or something. So it's not so bad period for Pisces. It's a good period, I would say. So you can make use of this period. So guys, these were my thoughts on the conjunction of Sun, Mercury and Saturn. So if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with another interesting video. Thank you so much for watching.